Hey guys, we're out here today and this is basically a DIY on setting up our water collection system with our IBCs. We've got 3 spots on the property that we're going to be putting them. I'm going to be showing you one of the spots today and how we're going to go about doing it. So this is our homestead, Ecotopia-OZ. I'm Rob, your friendly Quasi. That's a Kiwi Aussie. So let's have a look. All right, guys, just before we get started on this, I just wanted to let you know we've set this up for doing the gardens and everything like that. This isn't for potable water and it's not for drinking or anything like that. If you are going to be doing something like that, there are some different things you need, Um, they need to be kitchen grade tanks, probably more the black than the white. We're going to clad these, so it's not going to be an issue. But yeah, it's not for potable water, only for the garden. So just keep that in mind, guys. Hey guys, so the first step we've got today is we're going to be leveling out an area to put basically our little pad that we're going to be setting up these at. Our ground here is a bit uneven, and I'll show you that shortly. But some of the tools that we're going to be using, we just got a shovel, a level, a pick, another spade, shovel, all important radio. You really got to have that, and some water. So these are some of the things we're going to do to get started. Another thing we have got is this system here, which we're going to use to set everything up. Now, this is like a pad system that'll go on top, and it's got 3 areas that you can sort of turn up and turn down to get it perfectly level for our little pad that we're going to be making. So yeah, stay tuned for that and let's get into it. All right, guys. So our pad's going to be 2.4 meters long by 1200 wide. What I've done is I've just sort of roughly measured out, and I have marked down on the ground here roughly where that's going to be. I'm trying to line it up with this post over here, because eventually down the track what we're going to do is actually clad around it so it looks a lot nicer. So that'll be our first step, just about to get into carving that out and everything. So stay tuned and we'll come back once I've leveled all this area out. All right, guys, see you soon. Hey, Ecotopians, we're back. We've done a little bit of work. We've chiseled out our area we're going to be putting everything. I've just roughly put out where our, let's say, footings are going to go with our little pods that you see, and I've sort of adjusted them to height. I've brought them through from side to side just to make sure they're level both ways. So level this way and also level that way. So now we can start making up our frame for our floor. So let's go take a look. So next part of the project is actually building the floor that we're going to be putting down. So the way we're doing it is so we can actually pull it apart if we need to, because we're looking at down the track, actually recladding this shed here and cladding around it. So for this, we're going to be using 90 by 45 timber. So that's 90 mils that way and 45 millimeters that way. I don't know what it is in feet and inches, and 2.4 meters long. And for what we're doing, we're also going to be using these joist hangers. Now these here are made to take a 90 by 45 piece of timber. One thing we will do is we'll look at getting some nice straight bits of timber, and I'll show you that in a sec, but some nice straight bits of timber to use for starting to do this, and I'll sort of show you what you got to look at for that timber. Let's have a look at that, eh? All right, guys, we've got our timber all laid out here. This is actually for all 3 of the pods we're doing. We're only working on 1 today. Couple of things to look at. We want a couple of nice straight bits of timber. So what you want to do is have a look down it and see that's nice and straight to use down both sides. What you don't want to do for these bearers is look for a piece of wood like that. Because basically if you throw it, it'll come back. Nice little boomerang. Good for Australia, but not so good for building. All right, guys, let's go in and have a look at the next part. All right, guys, if you're enjoying what you're seeing today, whack a massive thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that bell so you can get a notification whenever something new comes up. And whack a comment down below. I'd love to hear what you think about everything. All right, guys. See you soon. All right, guys. So what we're going to do is we're going to mark out where our little joist hangers are going to go. I'm doing it at 600 centers. So what that means is from the end of the piece of timber here, we come up in 600 mils and we'll mark that. Okay. And then 12, 18, 24. What we're actually going to do though is we're actually going to pull it in 100 mils from the end for our first one, but the others will be at 600 centers. So like I said, we're going to come in 100 mils from either end. All right, guys, from here, what we're going to do is we're going to take our builder's square we got here, and we're actually going to mark lines on 3 sides. So both front and back and the top. So basically your front and your back will be for, the front will be for your joist hangers and where we're going to put those. And the back will be, I'm looking at actually drilling in a screw from the back side into the actual joists that we're going to have. So just get that and we'll just mark that out. So we've got each one of these, flip it over so we can get the one on the top. And then all we do is we bring this in and we line it up. So nice and hard up against this edge here. So then you know it's nice and square, and then we'll draw that next line on. So this makes sure that that line that goes all the way around is nice and plumb or even. Don't know the right wording for it. We'll flip over and basically do the same thing on the other side. All right, now that we've got all that marked out, what we'll now look at doing is actually putting our little joist hangers on. Got them here. So what we'll do is we'll put them down and then we'll put 3 screws in each side. So let's have a look at that, eh? Hey guys, so what we've done is we've set up this joist hanger. We've put the hanger basically in the center of this piece here where we've drawn one of those lines. We've put 3 screws either side and we've just dropped it down below the bottom of this piece of timber here. That's so that when we put the joists in, we can adjust them so that then they're perfect with the top. All right, I'm just going to go and put in the other ones, but we need 5 each for each side. Well, I'll get into doing that, and then we'll come back and have a look at the joists and how we're going to do that. Hey guys, we've got both our let's call them bearers done with our joist hangers on. So now we're going to cut our joists. We're going to cut 5 of them. Now the overall width is 1.2 meters or 1200 mils. So what we need to do when we're doing our joists is we need to go 1200 mil, but then we need to minus the thickness of 45 mil from both sides, because as you can see, we've got, you know, those bits of timber either side. So that'll give us 1110. And then that'll, once they're slotted in, that'll make a nice 1200 wide, which will take our board that'll go on top. So I'll get on and I'll get these cut and then we'll come back. See you soon. Right guys, so we've got those joists all done. I've just slid them into place. So what I'm going to do now is just go through and just knock everything into its right spot. And then on either end, what I'm actually going to do is put a screw in either end as well, and that'll just lock it in tight. And then I'll put 2 screws either side in each of the joist hangers. So that'll keep it all nice and tight and together. And then once that's done, because we're all nice and level outside, we should be able to just take this straight outside, put it on there and screw it off to those bases. So I'm going to get into that now, and we'll go from there. So here what I'm actually doing is I'm just going to check that it's all square. Too bad. All right. Okay guys, what we might actually do is just leave that there, because you don't really need to see me doing the rest of this. I'm just going to screw off the other side of the joist, and then we'll come back once we've taken this outside and put it on the little stands. See you soon. Alright guys, so we've got it all built up, screwed off. We've brought it out, put it on top of our little stumps that we'd set up before, and we've screwed it off here, just so everything's locked in together. Make sure it's nice and square, because later on we wanted it lined up with this so we can put cladding up here. Now the next step is where these extra lines that we had will come in handy, because that's where we'll be able to line up from side to side with a chalk line, and chalk some lines so we can put in our screws. Alright guys, so what we've done is we've put our flooring down. Now this is a marine grade ply that we're using here, so good for the outdoors. What we've actually done is, hopefully you can see this, but where that line is, we've drawn a line from side to side, so that'll show where we're going to be putting the screws. So I'm going to whack the screws in now, and we'll be back in a sec. Alright guys, we've got the floor all down now. What we did is we put some exterior screws in where all the joists were on both sides, and then two in the middle on each of the joists. Just evenly spaced there. It's nice and sturdy now. You could even do a river dance. So nice sturdy base to put our IBCs up on. So we're going to put them up on there now. I've got to go into town tomorrow, just get some little bits and pieces so we can hook into the rainwater gutter and set that all up. So yeah, stay tuned. All right, guys, let's get into actually hooking everything up to our downpipe up here. So a few things that we need for this. We've got some 90mm 45 angles. We've got two of them. We've got some clear primer and glue so that it looks pretty. We've got this little contraption which will actually end up going into the top of the IBC. So this bit comes out, and then once we actually end up connecting everything up, that'll go into there. All right, got those. Now, out of the actual IBC itself, we've got a 2-inch adapter, then a 2-inch to 1-inch adapter, and then we've got this little contraption here. Now that'll go on, and I've got this specifically because I'm going to be moving this pump we've got here from place to place. So what I've done is I've actually got this here, and that'll end up going into there, clamping down, and we can take this from IBC to IBC. So it's not a fixed contraption. All right. Then we've got some lengths of 90mm downpipe. That'll come down out of here, 45, then a 45 in. Then got a 92mm hole saw. This will allow us to drill a hole in either of these, put a little piece in between, so once one's full, it'll then siphon into the next one. The all-important pencil. Got a saw to cut our pipes down to size. Silicon to silicon up around our holes, and some nozzles. Silicon gun, and we'll just need a couple of screws to screw in up here so it fits it all off, and some possible offset brackets. So they're the sort of things we're going to be using now. So let's get into having a look at actually hooking everything up. All right, guys. All right, guys. So what we're going to look at first is we're going to look at connecting our downpipe back to our tank. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to do a quick little dry fit just to see how things are going to go. We'll have a look at that, and then what we'll do is we'll go and cut our bits and pieces and then come back to you. So firstly, we've got this into our tank with our 45 degree off that. So we'll just dry fit that on there. Nothing's going to be stuck together at the moment. That'll sort of go in there like that. Then we get our 90 degree pipe. Oh, our pipe, not 90 degrees because that's the fitting there. And we roughly see how things are going to fit up onto our pipe. And then you'll look and see where your 90 degree angle will go there, so everything lines up nicely. So that's what we're going to do. So it's going to be different for everyone. That's why I'm not going to go through exacts here, but yeah, stay tuned. We'll be back in a sec. All right, guys. So what we've done is we've come along and we've dry fit everything so that we know it's going to all fit how it should and the right way. The other thing we will do is we'll put one of these brackets up the top here. We'll do that a bit later and take that up and screw it off so that everything stays nice and rigid. So we'll get into gluing now. I'll show you one of the joins and how we're going to glue that, and then we'll get together to to glue it, and I'll just do a couple of quick shots of a couple of things. All right, guys. All right, guys, so we've got our little bits and pieces that we need to start gluing up. Firstly, what we want to do is just clean, roughly the inside of this bit and whatever you're gluing into it, just to get rid of the dust and stuff like that. The priming fluid will help with that. So that'll be our first one that we use. Now, this is non-pressure stuff that we're using here. So firstly, you get it out, a little primer. Got the little ball and everything on there. And we just run that around the inside of that piece. And around the outside of that piece. That just then primes it ready for the glue that we're going to be using. All right. Next, we've got the glue or cement that we're going to be using. It's basically the same thing we're going to do. We just unscrew the top. We'll run that around the inside of there. Run that around the outside of there. This way we get a nice bond. And then part A slips into part B. It's as easy as that. And then you just go through each of the joins and yeah, go from there. All right, we'll put everything else together and come back to you. All right, guys, so we've put our downpipe in now, and that's all leading into our water tank now. So what I'm doing is I'm going to be drilling 2 holes. I've already drilled one here on this side with our 92mm hole saw bit. So that gives us a little bit of extra leeway to put our pipe in. So what I'll do is I'll end up drilling a hole in the other tank just here. And then what will happen is your pipe will slide in. And then once this is back in position, we'll slide that back. So it's into both. So that will then flow up and over. And then we'll just silicone that off. All right, guys, so I'm not being 100% accurate with this, but we're going to eyeball it through. We can come down a little bit lower because tank A will be flowing into tank B. We'll have to clean this off a little bit, and then what we'll do is we'll just move this back and slide that pipe in. So we'll be back once I've done that. All right, guys. So we've put the pipe through from side to side, and just put a bead of silicone around, just to help with any leaks or anything like that. So we did that on both sides, all the way around. And clear, you could use clear silicone, white silicone, anything like that. Quick walkthrough of where we are from here. So our pipe's through there. Taking this up here. We've then just screwed the bracket off both sides. There and there. Put a little screw up the top, as you can see, just to hold it in place, and I'll run a bead of silicone around the outside there so she seals off nicely. All right, guys, so what we'll do now is we'll jump into having a look at the connection that'll go in the bottom of the water tank out to our pump. All right, guys, so what we're going to do is do the connections that'll go into the IBC and then to our pump. So with this one here, we're not going to need any thread tape or anything on it because we've got an O-ring or a seal there and a seal there. Now, when that's screwed on, that'll seal tight and stop any leaks. So 2-inch, the 2-inch adapter to a 1-inch, that'll screw in. So no thread tape will be needed. But what we will have to do is throw a bit of thread tape around this and then screw it into that. And then it's just as easy as screwing that into the IBC, and then our pump connector will go onto that. So I'll just whack that together and then we'll come back and show you how it all connects into the pump. All right, guys, so we've got the IBC parts on now. As you can see, we just screwed them straight in, easy as. Then it's just an easy thing. We just hook up the pump just pop that on there, clip those in, turn her on, clip our hose into there, and then we can go out and water whatever we need to out here. So that's basically our IBC setup. So if you've liked what you've seen today, give us a big thumbs up, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can keep informed when something new comes out. Throw a comment down below. All right, till next time, see you soon.